From WXII 12 News, this is breaking
news. The racing world falls silent tonight, honoring a champion, a showman, a driver who never backed down, the legendary Kyle Busch.
From checkered flags to fiery finishes, how fans, drivers, and teams across the country are remembering the racer who left everything on the track, but also made an impact far beyond it.
From his record-breaking career to the legacy he leaves behind, our special coverage remembering Kyle Busch starts right now.
Good evening. The world of NASCAR in mourning tonight. Two-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch has died. He was just 41 years old.
Yeah, earlier today, Busch's family said he had been hospitalized with a severe illness, but did not provide any specifics. We have team coverage tonight as the racing community remembers the race car legend that is Kyle Busch.
And we will hear from our crews in just a few moments. But for racing fans, Kyle Busch was a mainstay of the weekends. Whether it was trucks on Fridays or the Cup Series on Sunday, Busch was a racing legend.
Yeah, Christine, but it wasn't just about racing for Busch. His legacy is so far-reaching. A family pastime turned into a career, ending just far too soon. Kyle Busch is survived by his wife Samantha and two children, Brexton and Lennox. In the words of Will Ferrell in his role as NASCAR driver Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last. In a lot of ways, two-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch lived out those thoughts right on the racetrack. His fierce racing style earning him the nickname Rowdy. Not afraid to mix things up on the track, Busch was adored by his fans and hated by those who rooted against him. But all those fans would agree, Busch was one of NASCAR's greatest drivers. Born in 1985, Busch was born to race. His father, Tom, a mechanic, raced locally in Las Vegas. His older brother, Kurt, nearly 7 years his senior, was beginning his racing career as well, paving the way for Kyle to join the family pastime.
We only ever ran the go-karts against each other one time. We grew up having one go-kart together that we would have to share. Finally, we saw another one at a swap meet, and we bought it, we got it running, and we had them together on the track for one time. We're running around there, and Dad gives the one-to-go signal, and Kurt's got a little bit of a lead on me, and we're going into turn 3, so I put my nose in there to pass him, and he cuts me off. I climb his tire, I hit the back of his engine and knock the carburetor off of his engine, and so then I go around his outside. I make it back to the finish line as he DNF'd.
Small track racing as a kid led to big-time racing as an adult, making his O'Reilly Series debut in 2003. By 2004, Busch was a mainstay, winning 5 races that year. The success would carry over to the Cup Series. Busch became the Premier Series youngest winner, needing just 31 Cup Series starts to earn his first career checkered flag. It would be just the first of 63 Cup Series titles in his 22 seasons at NASCAR's highest level. In total, Busch would amass 234 National Series victories, the most in racing history. His 102 O'Reilly Series wins and his 69 Truck Series victories, also the most in NASCAR history. But Busch's legacy spans farther than on the track. His work away from it was his greatest joy. In 2015, alongside his wife, Kyle and Samantha Busch established the Samantha and Kyle Busch Bundle of Joy Fund. Their mission, to provide financial support to families suffering with infertility and the cost of in vitro fertilization. It's a cause near and dear to the Busch family, as they suffered through the pain of miscarriages and failed cycles before IVF gave the family 2 children of their own.
Bundleofjoyfund.org is where people can find more information, but it's most dear to Samantha and I in our heart because, you know, we went through it. I mean, just to have a shot for one round to go through this is $25,000, you know, so it's really been good for us to try to get out there and help our community and help others to be able to bring home their own bundle of joy.
Since 2015, the fund has granted nearly $2.4 million. 178 grants have been awarded, and 111 babies have since been born. His legacy on and off the track will be remembered by NASCAR fans, families, and all alike. Kyle Busch was 41 years old.
Kyle Busch was supposed to take part in tomorrow's truck race at Charlotte Motor Speedway before he was hospitalized.
Yeah, that site has become a memorial for people to pay tribute to the number 8 car. That's where we find our Chanel Porter right now. Chanel, You can go ahead and set the scene. Listen, you know Kyle Busch. We've had him in studio with us. You've watched him race here for several years. He's one of the best drivers. And obviously, fans right now are having a tough time hearing about this news.
Yeah, John, it's complete devastation and shock around Charlotte Motor Speedway. You mentioned it. Fans were coming here this weekend expecting him to hit the racetrack. They came here to Charlotte just a few years ago, back in 2018, and they watched him bring home the Coca-Cola 600, and then plenty of times since then. Watched him get in victory lane, take home the checkered flag, and that was what Kyle Busch was all about. Early in his career, he was the guy that everyone loved to boo. He was aggressive. He knew how to move guys out of his way. And early on, that's what it was all about. But now he's grown into a guy that everyone respects. NASCAR is all about generations, family. Kyle Busch is a guy that your dad liked, your grandfather watched, and he's continued to pass on through multiple generations of families just supporting him and truly respecting the number 8. We're here tonight. We see the number 8 flags around Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Kyle Busch will truly be remembered as one of the greatest to ever do this sport.
Everybody was talking from his last win, his interview he did after the truck race. You never know when your last win is going to come. Be grateful for everything, and him saying that and now this it's hard. It's really hard.
Kyle could do the job. So today is heartfelt, is sad, and all of us as fans, you might not have pulled for him, but as a NASCAR fan, you did, because we pull for everybody. We love our sport. And we're going to miss him, and we thank God for everything that we got with him. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing.
A mutual respect is what these fans are feeling for Kyle Busch and what he was able to do for the sport of NASCAR. Now it's complete shock and devastation for the fans, but it's a different shock and devastation for those that were close to him. Not only on the racetrack, but also off of the racetrack. That all starts at RCR Racing, where we find our Chris Peterson, where our coverage continues.
Here at the home of Richard Childress Racing at the RCR Museum, a makeshift memorial has been set up with flowers, cards, even a pack of M&Ms. And NASCAR fans, they are loyal and they love their favorite drivers. And folks that are stopping by tell me that they are simply in shock and still trying to process the tragic news. Fans have been stopping by since late this afternoon when folks started to hear about Kyle Busch's death. Folks are leaving cards and flowers, swapping their favorite Kyle Busch racing stories. Many fans I spoke with said they just wanted to be around other fans to help with the grieving process. It's simply hard for them to believe that their favorite driver, who just won a Truck Series race this weekend, is gone.
My thoughts and prayers, first and foremost, are with his family, his wife and his kids. I can't imagine how hard this will be and will continue to be going forward for them. So my thoughts and prayers are with them and with the whole RCR community. And here in Welcome even, we're proud of RCR and we're proud of what they do. And so it's a blow to the whole community.
I wanted to be with other fans who are trying to get through, trying to process this really sudden news and just come together and see what we could do for each other. And
I'm shocked, and you know, there's some definite sadness when I think about his kids and his wife, knowing that he had been racing with his son a lot more.
I spoke with RCR Communications Director Samantha Jones this afternoon. She said she wasn't sure what to expect as far as a response from fans, but that fans are welcome to come here to the museum and leave flowers, cards, gifts, and just pay their respects. In Welcome, I'm Chris Peterson, WXII 12 News.
It's all right there how emotional people get when they talk about this.
I know, and you heard the young man talk about Kyle enjoying watching his son race. He was one of the things that he talked about in the studio with us was he got so much joy seeing him join the family business of being a race car driver. Gone way too soon is Kyle Busch.
Yes, well, our coverage continues tonight with reaction from the racing world.
Our Bethany Cates joins us in studio to highlight some of the tributes that have been coming through social media. Bethany.
Well, those who knew Kyle Busch's sudden death say it's hard to comprehend, and with the loss that will be felt far beyond the racetrack. They shared this statement on Facebook that reads in part, quote, "Kyle was larger than life, iconic, fiercely competitive, and an amazing friend to Greg. They leaned on each other often, not only through racing, but through life and personal challenges as well." Fellow NASCAR Cup Series driver Ricky Stenhouse Jr. says, "There aren't really words for today. I've raced against Kyle for a long time, and anyone who knows Kyle lined up next to him and knew exactly what made him special. He gave you everything he had every single lap, and he made all of us better for it." Cup Series champion Brad Keselowski reacting to the news with 3 short sentences. Absolute shock, very hard to process, and hug your loved ones. Dale Earnhardt Jr. adding, "Kyle was one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history, and no one can deny that. But he was also a father, a husband, brother, son, and a friend to many. My heart is broken for the Busch family, and I will never be able to make sense of this loss, but I'm thankful that we had a found way to become friends." Joe Gibbs Racing says Busch will be remembered as a fierce competitor, an incredible teammate, and far more importantly, a devoted husband, father, and son, adding his impact on our organization and on the sport of NASCAR will never be forgotten. You can find much more reaction right now on WXII12.com, and we'll continue to update our pages as more tributes come in. In studio, I'm Bethany Cates for WXII 12 News.
All right, thanks, Bethany and Christine. You heard Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle raced for over a decade with Joe Gibbs. Kyle Busch wasn't only a champ on the track. Throughout his career, he participated in several NASCAR charity events, fan fundraisers, and children hospital visits.
John, there was one particular cause that he championed along with his wife that hit very close to home. You were used to seeing Kyle Busch zoom around the track in the number 8 Chevy, but off the track there was a cause that was number 1 in his heart. He and his wife Samantha helped those dealing with fertility issues through the Bundle of Joy Fund, a fund created to offer grants to help cover the cost of IVF treatments. Kyle joined us here in studio to talk about it.
We went through it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to conceive our children naturally, so we had to go through in vitro. And, thankfully, Brexton now, he's 10 years old. The fund's been around for 10 years. And as you said, we've got over 100 babies born. We've raised over $2 million and have granted $2 million to families around the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia area. And so it's really been, really neat for us to be able to help.
Plenty of fanfare surrounded the man who many appreciated for the charity events and fundraisers he drove forward when he wasn't behind the wheel. A champion of many causes throughout his career, but the Bundle of Joy Fund quite personal, as he referenced in that interview. Both of his children conceived through IVF.
We can also share tonight that friends and colleagues often said Busch was generous behind the scenes, in particular with fans and families facing medical hardships. Our coverage on Kyle Busch's life and legacy continues on our website, WXII12.com. There you can find more tributes and see how the Carolina Hurricanes honored him during tonight's game.
John, thanks for being with us tonight, and he's going to come back a little bit later in the newscast for continuing coverage of this breaking story.